Well, look at this. Good Sunday morning to everybody. Kind of a little bit of a change up today, being that Ken is a little busy and no stream for him. So I figured I'm up and I hoisted the Fair Dinkum Mounted Pub flag here in Las Vegas and just decided what the heck, we might as well do a little stream and keep things going for about an hour or so or more, who knows? But brewed the coffee. I am all set and ready to roll just because. And even using my Ember mug to keep my coffee at the perfect temperature. And just so you know they do not sponsor me. Um, but I used to use it at work a lot because it has a little plate to keep it warm and it sets the temperature and all that good stuff. And so I ground up some Sumatran beans, put them in the old coffee maker, and here we are. And here we are together. Hey, morning, Paul. Just saw you pop in there. Appreciate you. Yeah, Ken's just a little busy today. He had to pop over to Perth and visit with his dad. And so I was up and just decided, let's have some coffee and chat a little bit here this morning while the sun comes up. Oh man, waiting for my coffee to get to a little warmer temperature. But oh, hey, Richie. Cheers, brother. Good morning. You might see that little screenshot that I have up there. Oh, I was saying, I know it's on the floor here, but that's what I'll be doing my stream on this afternoon. Is I found this Killoan whiskey. It is the Irish single malt rum raisin. Has nothing to do with raisins because you get different flavors and so on and so forth out of the whiskey. But I've never seen a bottle like this out, on the shelf or anything. And I saw it last Friday when Independent Joe and I were at a bottle signing at Liquor Lineup 2 here in Las Vegas. Yes, Joe did a pilgrimage to come for a bottle signing of Horse Soldier whiskey with the Sergeant Major, Vince. So he was here last Friday, a week from this past. And so we both got to chat with him for a bit, get our bottles signed, and this goodie was sitting on the shelf. Oh, that's what I like to see. And yes, Stacy will be with me on the stream to guide me through this because, as you know, Stacy has this bottle. And so I figured I'd have her on for a little bit and we would chat as I open it and sip on there. Hey, cheers, Ben. Great to see you. And look at this. Look at this. Marty must have had to get up and take a pee. Well, actually 9:30, almost 10 o'clock for him. So I thought, what the heck? Like I said, coming on stream, get your coffee, put whatever you want in it, cream, sugar, whiskey. There is no discrimination here. But this morning, now I know, right in front of my nose, So being that I'm talking about whiskey and so on and so forth, and Ken, I am going to pour a little something for Ken and send some good thoughts his way for his father. So I am going to pour just a little bit of this tail of ice cream. Let me drop this down a moment here. Pour a little bit of the tail of ice cream here this morning. I wonder how it'll go with what's in my coffee. A little Irish whiskey, a little red breast in there, but I'm going to pour a little bit in here, and I love this thing. This is turned out to be an excellent bottle. I mean, if anyone's had this series from Glenmorangie, started off with Tale of Cake. I never had Tale of Cake, but everyone raved about Tale of Cake and what it was. And I did see it on the shelf. I remember it, but I just didn't know what was there. So anyway, I would have to imagine that Tale of Cake was as fabulous as Tale of Ice Cream. And those of you that know that I couldn't resist and had to already pick up the backup because this bottle is dropping quicker than a buffet at a Weight Watchers convention. I mean, that sucker is just wow. But before I get out of sorts, raise my glass to say good thoughts to Ken's family at this time, wishing his father a good recovery. So cheers. Mm. Nothing like ice cream in the morning, let me tell you. Mm. Yes, Tale of Cake, from my understanding, was the first in the series. So Tale of Cake, Tale of Winter, Tale of Forest, Tale of Tokyo, uh, Tale of Ice Cream is out now. I can, I can, I can still get Tale of Winter is on the shelf, and there's probably a good reason why it's still on the shelf now at like $100. Apparently, it's just not a hitter. If it goes below 100, so, and I'm just throwing it out there, if it would come out for $50, I would buy the bottle just to have that part of it. And if I ever found a Tale of Cake, I would definitely pick that thing up. That's for sure. Well, you know what, Paul? It's funny. Here in Vegas, we've been below freezing several days the last couple of weeks. I mean, we're talking 25 degrees Fahrenheit, so 0 Celsius, 32 for us. So 32 and below is freezing. But holy smokes, it's not that it's unusual for Vegas because it will get cold and it will freeze here. And then occasionally we do actually get that white stuff that will land on your car and your lawn and stuff like that. And in over what, 27 years almost I've been here, I've brushed it off my car probably twice. Yeah, it snowed that much. And the last time, I mean, the real snow to where it was on the streets and pretty much crippled the city was, I'm going to say 2007, when I was leaving the Flamingo looking at Caesar's Palace. You could barely see the buildings. It was snowing that hard here. And I'm just like, holy smokes. And I was getting on a plane that night to fly to the East Coast for the holiday. And I texted my father and I said, look, I don't know why I'm coming out there. I've got everything I need right here. I go, can't hardly see Caesar's Palace. But anyway, so for it's been cool here. But today is going to be a great day. As a matter of fact, it is going to be approximately 70 degrees Fahrenheit here. The sun is going to be out, clear blue skies, slight breeze. So I am looking forward to catching up on a few things with the stream and stuff I've got to work on. Getting some stuff together for different reviews of different stuff, because, you know, if I don't kind of get a game plan as I go, it actually then becomes a chore. So I kind of like to know what I'm doing and to get out there. But anyway, yep, cold, 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 but not today. Right now, I think I'm at 43, 44 degrees Fahrenheit. This, I could see the sun sticking its head up through the blinds that are over here. Mm-mm-mm. Man, that's good. Actually, that Redbreast 12 that's in the coffee, I don't know. A little ice cream goes well. I'm just saying, people. Stealing a line from Mr. Jiggs. Hope he's doing well. Mm-mm-mm. Man, that is good. I'm sorry. I know I say that a lot about this bottle, but it really, really is a good dram. Really is. Hey, Dano, morning. Let me raise the coffee mug to you. In here, got a little fresh ground Sumatran roast with a splash of cream and maybe a little something something of Redbreast 12. Maybe, to each his own. But it's Sunday morning. I'm letting the spirit move me. Mm. And like I told everybody, this cup is an Ember. You might have seen them in Starbucks. I did not buy it there. It was given to me by a family member. And it keeps your coffee hot. You can set it 100 degrees, 120, 130, so when you're in a meeting and you go over into the room, could take this with you and it stays, or it has a little plate. I can set this down and it pulls the charge, from the battery to keep it going so it doesn't drain the battery. I really liked this thing when I was, in the office every day. It was really nice because you do video calls just like I'm doing here, and you get to chatting with the other cup and it gets cold. I don't like cold coffee. Cannot stand cold coffee. Don't like iced coffee. It's just bleh. To me, it's sacrilege to drink coffee cold. But if you do, you do. It's like your whiskey. You drink your whiskey how you want to drink your whiskey. Don't care. But anyway, hope you're doing well, Dano. Having a good Sunday morning. I hope you've got your coffee. I'm sure Richie probably has his coffee, and Paul and Ben sitting back with their coffee. Haven't seen Sugar Kitty. I know Marty was drinking coffee. He's probably just, rolling back over and going, oh my gosh, I got to get out of bed. But anyway, there you go. Sorry you're doing that W thing on Sunday, but I got it. I used to have to do it too. But, when you leave what I call the civilian life and get a government job, you don't work weekends, you don't work holidays. And you're pretty much right there, guaranteed a steady schedule. You're going to be out at a certain time and home at a certain time. It's wonderful. Yes, 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 yes. Cheers to you, sir. Always great seeing you. Thank you. But I'm really looking forward to opening that bottle of Killowen and seeing what it's like. I was talking to the owner yesterday of Liquor Lineup 2. Well, he owns them all, but that's where I was. And about that particular bottle, and hope that he can find a few more. And Eric Gunderson saw the thumbnail, and so he sent me a picture of his collection. And I'm like, oh man, I have never seen some of those over there. And I'm like, it's amazing. Amazing. Nope, let's see here. Well, and that's kind of unusual that you can down a monster, but hey, whatever works for you, you do it. That's okay. I had a years ago when Red Bull was coming out, they would come to the hotels and particularly around the pool area, and they would pass out free cans of it. Um, they pass out free cans of it to the people just to so they could try it. They would come in this Volkswagen Beetle, and these uh, employees or salespeople, I don't know, I'm sure they hired them, but would come out and just pass them out. So I was there, and they offered me one, and I asked for two. So of course they gave it to me, and they were nice and cold, and it was your typical summer day of 110, 115 degrees Fahrenheit here in Las Vegas, and they were cold, and I popped them into my bike and I rode off into the garage, and I drank both of them down. The first one went like that, and so I drank it, and then I popped the second one, drank it, and about 20 minutes later, whoo, Lord, 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 love a duck. I'm telling you, it was like, oh my gosh. So I haven't touched a Red Bull or anything like that since. Can't do it, won't do it. It's just not my thing. But to each his own, you do you. Well, not to go off on that tangent, but yeah, I actually was doing some type of looky-see into it because, you go down that wormhole of YouTube from time to time and you find different things. And I saw a few things about Monster, Red Bull, I think it's called Celsius or something like that. And oh yeah, not not actually good for you when you look at some of the ingredients in there and you figure out what that big name is, and it turns out to be cyanide. And I'm not joking. It's like, are you kidding me? So, yeah. Mr. Hall, good morning, sir. Always great to see you. I hope you survived Big Vic's stream. And I know Z-Man did because he's here with us. I was on there. I was on there too. So,
cheers,
yep.
chat.
But yeah, those energy drinks, they'll get you. They certainly will.
Yeah,
But
they get you eventually. I quit drinking them in 2015.
yeah, I don't blame you. I do not blame you at all on that.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
But the ones I had weren't terrible. I mean, the first sip of that Red Bull was a little different. I mean, it was different. It wasn't what I was expecting, the flavors and everything with a little fizz, but I got through it. It was okay, but I never went back after those two. And I mean, I was wired to the hill. I'm telling you from it. I didn't drink last night, actually got some sleep. So as soon as my coffee kicks in, I'm good. Amen, sir. Get that coffee. Get that coffee. This is the Sunday morning coffee stream. And like I said, put whatever you want in your coffee, whether it be cream, sugar, whiskey, makes no difference. How do you drink your coffee on Sunday morning? Tea, Monster drinks, whatever energy drinks, makes no difference. That's what we're doing here for a little bit while Ken's taking care of his dad. And of course, it's one of the first official duties of a branch of the MUNTED pub is to fill in a time spot here and there when the actual pub is on a holiday, or in this case, business.
Yeah,
it's a tough job being an auxiliary pub here. You got to meet the high standards of the main pub. So, got to have a little something in your glass, and you got to set that tone just right.
Ken's doing what none of us want to do, but I've already done it, so I get it.
Yep. You have to take care of family. You got to take care of the family. So
Totally
That's
agree.
what it comes down to. And
That's
for
kind
him,
of,
it's a jaunt,
yeah.
to go back and forth. So, but anyway, I like I said, sending him good thoughts and hope all is going well.
Yes, sir. Totally agree with that.
Yep. 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 Yeah, William, I'm not a, it is crazy. You're better off sometimes to drink a Coke or a Pepsi. It has less sugar than some of those energy drinks. And it's hard to believe. And for me now to drink a regular Coke or a Pepsi, and I'm a Pepsi person, uh, because I have moved away from a lot of sweet drinks. I am a sweet tea junkie. However, it's been before Thanksgiving since I've had any sweet tea. I'm just, stepping away from sugars that I don't need. I won't, I will not have it, but I don't need it. I just choose water or something else. I don't even do diet soda. I did my first diet soda in a long time. 2 weeks ago at work, they were having a thing, and I don't know. I just felt like one with my sandwich, so I had a diet soda. But other than that, I don't even touch those. I didn't know they had those, Richie. Okay.
Yeah, there's
Yeah, I
zero
didn't know
sugar
they had few.
monsters.
Well, you know what? I'm not surprised, let's say that. But because I'm not a person that goes for them, I didn't know. But in hindsight and then thinking about what I just said, I think I do recall seeing something. I don't know if it was Monster or whatever, but no sugar. And I think it was the one I saw that actually said it was one of those Celsius drinks or something like that. It had that on there. So let me take that back a little bit now that I think about it.
I used to drink the zero sugar monster. It's in a white can. It's delicious. But I stopped doing that just because of, it's it brings your it amps you up. I don't
Oh
really want
yeah.
to mention. I don't want to mention names because there's a lot of drinks that are out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
had
Yeah.
I've had
Yeah.
energy drinks that
That's right.
I had like two in a row that made my eyes flutter. I'm like, oh wait a minute,
Oh
what
yeah.
am I doing here?
Yeah. There was more energy than one person should handle.
Yes, sir.
Totally
Yeah.
understand.
Yep.
Totally understand that. More energy than one person should handle, without a doubt. Let me pop this thing off the screen, but there we go. Sorry, everybody. That's Z-Man in the morning. You get what you get.
Stop it. There's nothing wrong with me, man. I got no complaints from family, friends. My girl, she loves this little dude, so we're all good.
That's all
That's
that counts.
23 years later, she's still liking them. So
There you go. That's all that counts.
mm,
And now that she's retired,
yeah,
yeah,
she's a happier person. Very happy.
that's all that counts. That's all that counts. That's for darn sure. But so yeah, like I was saying, I don't know if you heard before I got there, I'm trying to get a few things organized for upcoming streams, and that's what I'm gonna do today, and get kind of a game plan going. And I know a lot of people have seen it, particularly because I think everybody that's in chat right now was on uh, Vic's stream, but I cannot believe I actually found one of these and it's in my hand in the wild.
I can't see it yet. Hold on.
It's a stag.
Oh, are you serious?
It's in my hand. I've never owned a bottle until now. I have had other bottles in my hand, but unfortunately, it was not. Um, it was not one I could purchase, even though I was at a a store. Well, of course, liquor lineup, but I just somehow didn't see the notification that they were in. And I walked in maybe a day later or two, and they were sold out. I'm like, are you kidding me?
What stag is it?
It is 24C like Charlie. 24C like Charlie at 128 something on the proof. Let me look here. 128.9. Just needed another tenth to get us over that edge. But yeah. And I had the choice of A or excuse me, B like Bravo,
Right.
or C as in Charlie. C had the higher proof, so I grabbed it. And then you're talking 128, 127, 126 right in there for the B. So you're not talking a huge difference at all in the proof, but everybody knows I'm a proofy bitch, and so I had to pick that up. I had to pick that up. And then, this week I talked about, I did a stream, Forgotten but Not Gone. And what I was referring to is the whiskey that we have on our shelves. It's good. There's nothing wrong with it. But because we bought other bottles afterwards, it gets pushed back. It pushed back. Okay. And I know you and I have chatted about this before. But for some reason, I don't know whose stream I was on. Oh, 4 Leaf Whiskey. She likes Penelope Architect.
Yeah.
All right.
And
she said she said she has been through a bottle or two already. And I'm like, well, shit, I know I've got Architect and Toasted somewhere. And so about a week ago, that kind of started a hunt, looking on the shelves, and because it's a distinctive bottle, that it's slender and tall. It looks like a Redwood Empire bottle.
Yeah.
Similar. So I didn't find it right away. I wasn't sure where the hell it was. And then Friday night, I'm like, I wonder if it made it into the box of lost spirits. That's what I got a couple of boxes with the dividers in it that I could put it in there. Not that they're bad. It's just I needed to get it off the shelf and organize it somehow. So I put it in there, and I went over there, and then sure enough, there it was. And so I wasn't fond with the first pour that I had from the bottle, because it uses French oak staves, and sometimes it's good, sometimes it's sometimes it's just not palatable.
Right.
And when I first cracked it and reviewed it, it's probably been a year. It wasn't anything that blew my socks off. So anyway, I decided to pour it Friday, and I'm telling you, 8, 9, 10 months probably since I had it, if not a year. I can't even recall. Hey, morning, Jonathan. Yes, sir. We have the Muggo coffee going, so feel free to grind your beans. I know you've got a couple of bags of them sitting down there. So grind your beans, get your coffee cup. I know you're probably going to do a little work today, but if you've got some time, 10, 15 minutes, pop in, say hello, drink your coffee, because I know Sunday's usually a busy day for you, but I don't know what your weather's like. And so what the heck? Woke up to an empty Russell's bottle next to me like it was a teddy bear. I'm telling you what, that's what happens on Vic's stream. And I remember what you said. You got to work, and you weren't starting off with anything cask strength. And look where you went.
I like that.
Mm-hmm. Hey, I hope you at least made it out of the office.
Yeah. You got to make
yes,
it
sir. Coffee is definitely next. That's what's in the glass. So feel free to grind them beans.
Yeah.
19 today. Yeah, no,
One will let them go
we're
from
not.
Dutch.
We've not gotten that cold. I know Z-Man hasn't gotten that cold either, but I think he and I
No,
both. I
it's
know I
been,
did. We got into the
it,
20s.
yeah, it's been in the 30s out here, and then it gets 50 during the day.
Well, we were hit the low 60s yesterday, and today
Yeah.
I'm going to hit 70. So if I'm going to hit 70, you definitely are going to be up there too.
Yes, sir. Yeah, totally right.
Hmm. Well, that's a great way to start your morning, Richie. And then it makes you wonder, what in the hell was I doing that I would leave perfectly good whiskey? Yes. Yes. So, in all fairness, when you get 6, 7 different pours in front of you because you're doing a tasting, and as you know, we don't put, an ounce or 2 ounces in there. You're doing a tasting, so you pour a little in there. But sometimes your last pour of the night as you're chatting, you'll pour maybe an ounce. Well, I get sidetracked or whatever. I've come back and there's a Glen topper on a glass, and I'm like, holy crap, there's still whiskey in there. I thought I was done with that. So at lunchtime, I just take that Glen topper off and do it. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. You said you picked up that bottle instead of uh oh my God, what was that one you said you looked at and you said you picked that one up instead, but you got to get another one. Oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank, but I know you and I talked about it last night on Vic Stream. What the
Well, I
heck?
did the Elijah Craig
Oh yeah,
18,
yeah, 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 yeah. I was just gonna say it was a
but
Scotch, Glen
and
Scotia.
I did the Midwinter's Nice Fram on there too, which it's fucking good.
Isn't it good?
It
Especially
is.
when you give it some time to open up. Like
It
I
is
got mine,
so fucking
not
quite
Christmas of
good.
24, but Christmas of 23, and I
Those
drank
two,
some then. It was
those two,
good,
those two bottles are like $200 each bottle. It's just bad, but
and
they're worth it.
and I didn't touch it after Christmas of 23. And I will say this, I digress. I might have had one little sip out of it to go, I'm going to try it. But I
Yeah,
didn't have any more until this Christmas. Man, has that opened up wonderfully. And as a matter of
yeah.
fact, funny we're talking about it, it's part of my floor whiskey right now because I got to get it back up on the shelf because the holidays are over. But I've been into it, but that's only in a year. It's a little above half. So this is Act 11 Scene 9 at 49.3 ABV. And but this is it's a nice bottle. And it's like anything else that we've talked about. The price it does get ridiculous. I mean, I will say it should be a 80 to 90 some dollar bottle, give or take, retail. But because of its
Mm,
scarcity, when it's out and it gets out into the market, you can easily see it for $1.50 to $200 or more, depending upon where you are. And you pay what you want to pay for what you want because it's your money. But it is
yeah,
a good bottle. The whiskey is good. But where you draw the line is just like we've all said before, is the price sometimes. It's like, yeah, it's good, but it's not $250 good. It's not $300 good. It's good, but yeah, it's just not there. So especially if you can find it at the MSRP, so we'll just round it up to $100 and you can walk out the door with it. Yeah, yeah, spend $100. Spend $100. But anyway, you know what? You cannot go wrong. I picked up this one here, and it happens to be a 2018 that was still on the shelf because I had to go back and look at it and look at the date code on it, and 9/2/18, and I'm like, are you kidding me? Still sitting on the shelf. And so, and for a 15-year-old, whiskey, I had to grab that bottle. you know, and unfortunately, they didn't have another one on the shelf, or I probably would have sinned and backed that sucker up. Yep. And you are correct. You are correct. And JD Bourbon approach is the one that explained to me the difference in labels and what they mean. The juice is pretty much the same, but he said the older bottles had a tad more flavor because in that at that time frame they had uh, juice that might have been a little more developed. Can we, if that's the right term to say, or what they were blending it together with the other barrels to get the profile. Those years were exceptional in how they made the whiskey turn out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because time, temperature, and all that, where the barrels are in the warehouse, you know, that it affects the makeup of the whiskey. Oh yeah. Oh, good guy. Good guy. That's for darn sure. Good guy. That's for darn sure. Without a doubt. I'm going to go fill my coffee cup back up because it's getting low and I got to keep going for a little bit. Hold the fort, Richie Z-Man. I will be right back momentarily.
Right on, all over.
Not going far. Just going to fill this thing up. Yeah, he works all over the state, Richie.
Yeah, I work in one place in the state, so. Agree, Richie. Oh, man. Fucking neck is sore. Oh. Mm-hmm.
That's what I said too. Sigh. Okay. I was like, why didn't this pop on? Okay, because I got to hit the right button to do that. That is for sure.
Yeah, it's always something. It's always
Yeah,
something.
it's neat to meet community members. Well, when I actually met Independent Joe last week at that bottle signing I was talking about earlier, that was the first time I met him in person, and he said he was vertically challenged, and I chuckled and I realized, yes. But I think he's got Whiskey Mountains beat by about that much, really, because I was next to her and everyone was telling me how short she was, and I'm like, well, they said she was a, a, a munchkin. And I thought I was envisioning her a lot shorter than she was, and I'm like, what's all the hubbub? I mean, with one of those grabbers, I said you can get a plate out of the cabinet.
Grabbers.
You know, I said, heck, that's for darn sure. Yeah. I chatted with Chris and a little bit on Women of Whiskeys because they were streaming last night too. And they were there
Oh, yeah.
and
That's right.
chatting. Kind of like that stream. You know, that's the first one I really got to listen to. Their criminals and cocktails and criminals or something like that. I actually got to listen to how they do it. I've watched it before, but not as long because I was always either doing something or, because of when it comes on. Um, I have to be up at 2:30 in the morning for work. So I was like, I couldn't stay on. I wanted to, but I just couldn't.
You
And
had to
so when
work.
I saw it was on, I had to jump in
You,
there.
you had to work on the weekend.
Oh, I never work on the weekends. And if I do, they have to pay me dearly.
Well, what are you saying that you had to work?
Well, they're usually on Wednesdays.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh,
Good
uh,
morning, Greg. Hope all is well. I know it's not morning for you, but I hope all is well. Currently listening mode, a lot of samples for friendly swap, still a lot to do. Yes. Hey, that's one of the reasons that got me motivated this morning, Greg, is I've got some things to review. I've got to get some things in order so I know what I'm doing on the channel for a couple of weeks, and I want to get some pictures ready for thumbnails, and there's a lot of the post-production work involved in doing some of this. I mean, so I do it usually on the weekends as I'm doing just what I'm doing now, sipping on my coffee and just having going through, deciding, and so on and so forth, and getting some ideas on thumbnails while it's fresh in my head, and then just saving them, and then deciding what bottle I want to review, and then I pull up the thumbnail and I'll fine tune it on a Saturday morning and then put it out. Oh, yeah. See how you are? See how you are? Oh, please, yes. They're they're all great. They are all great without a doubt. Oh, yeah. I've actually had that happen on a shipment here, and that was very, very unusual that it happens, and particularly with the uh, smaller sample bottles. But I've had it arrive damaged, and when they leak over everybody else, it ruins the label, so you cannot see what is on the bottle or what's in the bottle, but you can almost read it out. And I figured out that this is a Lefroy Carchus 2024 from Eric Gunderson. So now I know what it is, but yeah, that was so weird. So whatever happened, they must have dropped that from a skyscraper in order to do it, you know? Yeah, it's a lot of work, but I enjoy doing it because I like talking with everybody. But yeah, it's a lot more work than people think or know, that we do. And I know you've talked about it several times, Greg, about the work involved and the editing and stuff like that, because you will do stuff and you do editing. Me, I try to do it all live off the cuff. You get what you get, because I started out in that world and I go, oh my God, it was so mentally draining. But if I probably had somebody that did it and knew some of the shortcuts and could explain the editing and so on and so forth, it probably wouldn't have been as daunting a task as it turned out to be. And I might have done more pre-recorded videos. Underneath the glass, there is usually, yes, 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 but I totally know what you're talking about. Absolutely. But yeah, this was one of those things that, I mean, it was wrapped in bubble wrap and everything. I don't know how or what, but those professional package smashers can do a great job. That could could get more confusing than a weasel in a hen house. I think it was Jason's C's. And I'm trying to remember because somebody asked me and I said, years ago, Jason was on one of my streams. He popped in. I don't remember.
No,
And how we got on it was we were talking about Sherry G. And my stream years ago was was the first she ever appeared on. She was always in chat, but she appeared on my stream. And even HBR was on one of them years ago.
I've talked to Sherry G because she was in the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office, and the first conversation I had with her, she just asked me if I wanted a bottle of Stag, and I'm like, yeah, I want a bottle of Stag. And she goes, well, I'll give you one of mine. I'm like, no, I'm not taking what you got. She goes, well, just it's out there if you want it. And she's just the sweetest girl around.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, I did that.
So, yeah, Greg. Sorry. Go ahead, Z-Man.
I was just surprised to hear that. Because,
Oh, yeah. She was a good heart. Good heart. That's for darn sure. Good heart. Not bad, Greg. I know you might have seen that I already talked about this and reviewed it, and I'm going to highlight this for you, Greg. But if that was my fault, I apologize.
Don't worry about it.
The Glenmorangie Tale of Ice Cream. This I bought a week ago, a little over a week ago, and well, it evaporated, Z-Man, as you can see. It happens. But Greg, this I'm just going to tell you is a very nice drop. It certainly is dessert in a glass, and everybody that's in chat now has heard me say this several times, but this is the first time you and I have had a discussion like this. But it's really, really good. I mean, I think Dr. Bill did a good job on this in the flavor that's on there at 46 ABV, no non-chill filtered. It ticks the boxes that you want to have on that particular scotch, and really, really, really good. And I put a little in the glass as we were sending good thoughts to Ken for his dad to recover. And God, I can smell the vanilla is so prevalent.
Do you know that there was a Glen Mill video that was out there. They actually, those barrels, they're on the floor. They're in the dirt, bottom row.
Yeah.
And they were popping bungs in those. And I was like, you can actually leave it in the dirt.
Yes, so, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
So what I do, William, I fill up the kitchen sink, hot water, little dish soap, drop those sample bottles in there that have this, here, let me highlight this, that have this tape on it, like this, and soak the living crap out of them for about 2 hours in the morning. And I have a little steel wool pad. And while it's in the water, I just scrub it off. Works perfectly. Sometimes it gets stubborn, but when you soak them for a little bit in that dish soap, works wonderfully.
It's always something.
Well, I thought it was in the course of 10 days, not even that much evaporated out of there. So I'm gonna put some tape over it tonight to ensure that no more evaporates out of here, because I tell you what, that thing is, oof,
Soaked.
worst they ever made. Yeah, apparently they must got their head up their duppa. But taste is subjective, to each is their own. But everyone I've shared that with, nobody has had a bad thing to say.
I got a bold answer. Eh? Cheers.
All right. Cheers, man. Yeah, no one's had a bad thing to say. And I've probably shared that with 5 other people, maybe 6 other people, Greg, and they've all enjoyed it. And it, to me, I had to go out and buy that next bottle. I could not wait. Oh, yes, absolutely. But I'm just saying, yeah, I had to have it. You know, when I found out it was on the East Coast, and then I found out it was on the West Coast, uh, yeah, it was just there. Yep, I agree. Well, you know what? If you can get a pour of it, or you know somebody that has it, I'm telling you, I I I really enjoy that pour. I I enjoyed Tale of Forest. I enjoyed Tale of Tokyo. As a matter of fact, when I opened this bottle last week and reviewed it because I was so excited to get it, that I started off with Tale of Tokyo because I wanted to keep that. I wanted the same flavor profile as in their from their core range. And the Tale of Tokyo is in Japanese Mizunara casks, but I just wanted to keep that core range profile on my palate and not go to Belvini or a Tomatin, something along that line. That, yeah. So I just thought I'll stick with Glenmorangie, and that's what I pretty much did on the stream for sure. You have to really hunt for that Nectar Dior. But I've heard so too that you can find it on shelves. Look, if I can find a 2018 Glen Scotia 15-year-old still on the shelf, yeah, um, I'm sure it's out there. And I would pay for a Nectar Dior too. You know, in other words, if someone found it for a C note on the shelf, yeah. I think, don't quote me, but I think Eric Gunderson has one, and he hasn't opened it yet, or that was his backup. So he finished one and has a backup. I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure it was him that told me that. So I'm like, oh, okay. Oh my gosh, yes. Yes. I mean, uh, I totally get it. You know, you cross your fingers, your toes, your legs, and just like, oh my gosh, just get there. Because when you hear of damaged bottles like that from a what we call a hand delivery, it's like, oh, yeah, it hurts. It hurts. Yeah, absolutely. Yes, us English over here, Greg, we have a problem with language. But yeah, when you hear somebody, I'm gonna say like you pronounce it, and you go, well, heck, have I been pronouncing that thing wrong the whole time? But so yeah, I totally get it. Listening to some of your, or watching some of your videos and listening to you and how you pronounce things, and I go, huh, well, that didn't sound the same when I say it. But that's just it. You know, it's that's the dialect. So anyway, but yeah, this was I was glad to find this one, this Glen Scotia 15, sitting on the shelf, and it was one of those things, right place, uh, right time, and an older bottling still on the shelf, and it's like, oh my goodness, oh my goodness, oh my goodness. And it's funny, I know people that would gladly I would gladly, or they would gladly buy that for me for what I paid for it and not think twice about it, because they love that juice, which I can understand. It's good stuff. Absolutely, it is good stuff. So I'm glad to have that. Oh yeah, oh yeah. I mean, there is a Kilkerran, they call it the heavily peated, that I want to add to my collection. Hey, that's okay, Greg. You and I would do fine on a stream together. That's for darn sure. We'd get through it one way or another. Uh, yeah, it is. But they would buy that for me in a heartbeat on there. And another one that I showed on Vic Stream that I wasn't able to ever find was the E.H. Taylor rye. And this is the bottle and bond. So it's at least 4 years old and 100 proof. And I actually opened this at the shop and gave out a little taste. But I was very happy to find this because I've wanted one. And let me say this, it is not okay of American rye whiskey. So I'm going to use Knob Creek rye, Prideful Goat rye. Um, that rye has a little more punch when it comes to spice over this one. Now, this one is an absolute good sipper. The second and third sips of the whiskey, the rye will start to shine. It will develop on the palate. The pepper type spice, the way it grabs, will start to come out, but not in the same way as like the Knob Creek or the Prideful Goat or the High West rye. You know what I'm saying? It's just those just have a little more spice forward presence. This is a nice sipper, and honestly, I would tell people to pick this up if you're a beginner to rye. It's it is really good, really good. Yeah, yeah, Greg. Apparently they have a cast strength. This is not. This is the bottled and bond, so it's 50 ABV. But it is a great sipper at that proof. Great sipper at that proof, without a doubt. Great sip. I forgot already, Greg. Hey, Sean. Good morning. Good morning, sir. Hope all is well with you. But yeah, I'm gonna do a review on this, and that's one of the things that I'm scheduling. Even though I've already sampled it, I could not wait. Could not wait. That's for sure. But anyway, morning coffee here, Sean. Since Ken had to do a quick visit to his father's, and so I figured I'd occupy an hour or so and sip on coffee with you all while you all are having your coffee. And like I said earlier, a little fresh ground Sumatran roast in the coffee mug. And well, There may even be a little Redbreast 12 in there. Could be. But in here was a little toast up to Ken and Ken's family and sending good thoughts their way. And there was a little Glenmorangie tail of ice cream in here, and there's still a little bit left. So I might as well say, good morning, Sean, and finish this one off. Hmm. You know, it's weird. Even with the coffee, the flavor of that whiskey still pokes through. Still pokes through. Still creamy, vanilla, viscous. Because as you all know, certain things will ruin the flavor, especially if you're going from A to B and vice versa. But oh my goodness, this is it's a nice whiskey. I'm hoping Greg can get some for himself and at least a sample or a pour somewhere that he can decide if it's worth it spending the money and going through it and experiencing it. But man, it's nice. It's nice. A sample of a terrific 2022 release of an 11 Colila from Signatory Vintage. You know, I've been hearing a lot about the Signatory line. And if I'm not mistaken, that's an independent bottler who will purchase from various distilleries. Am I correct in that, Greg, Richie? I'm pretty sure I am. Pretty sure that I am. Man. Yep, that's what I thought. It is. Yeah. I have seen bottles, but I've never particularly focused on it until recently. That people have now brought it to my attention because there's a lot of talk about it now between whiskey tubers and people in chat and people like Greg that are familiar with that label and know. So now it's kind of one of those things that when I see it, if I can get the bottle and hold it in my hand and look to see if it mentions a distillery, now I am, like I said, I'm interested in it. I want to know more. I want to see what they have available. Okay. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Yeah. Cadenhead, absolutely. And you know what? I am seeing a lot more that Battle Hill on the shelves, and now I'm taking notice of it. I mean, I have seen it, but I have never paid attention to it because I was unaware of exactly what it was on there. And I've talked to some people, you know, at the bottle shops and have mentioned that to them. And some of them have had it and said, oh my gosh, this was good or that was good. And unfortunately, I do not remember if it was the 12 or the 16 year, whatever, or if they mentioned a particular distillery from them that they had purchased the liquid from. But yeah, I'm looking, that's on my radar now to start thinking about. Well, you know what? I think with a lot of the independent bottlers who will purchase juice from other distilleries, it's anything. You, especially if they have a non-disclosure, so it doesn't say uh, Kalila, it doesn't say Corregamore, it doesn't say uh, Lagavulin. Just using those as an example. And sometimes, though, there's a little more of a premium for that 12-year versus the actual name brand 12-year. And there is trying to think which one it is. And it is a Highland Park. And it's an Alexander Murray that has a 13-year Highland Park at Total Wine. And they're selling it for about $100. When the 12-year Highland Park is about $40 less than that. And I told a person, I go, for 1 year to pay $40 more for a Highland Park, and Highland Park is good juice. I said, I wouldn't want a taste of that because it has to be in a phenomenal year, that 13-year, and then to be $100 versus the 12 from the actual distillery, which the juice in both of them are from the actual distillery, but under the Highland Park label. I said, I am reluctant to spend that on that Alexander Murray. Now, I do have the Alexander Murray from the Tobermory distillery. It's a 22-year-old right here. And this single cask at 53.8 ABV is absolutely delicious. Absolutely delicious. And I am really holding on to this. But this was a really good bottle. And unfortunately, I don't see it anymore on the shelf. But that's the way that goes. Yeah, I never bought that either. Never did. Oh, okay. Octave. Now I have seen that, Greg, but I'll have to focus in on that a little bit. That's where I've seen it, Sean. But some people said that there's some good juice at a value price within that line. Yeah, I have it too. I have it too. Okay. Okay. But I like Highland Park. So anytime I see an indie that will name it, I look at that. That's for sure. I do like Highland Park. Ah, and that's what I'm saying. So for me to spend that extra $50 and on that 13-year-old from Alexander Murray, and I don't remember the ABV. It might have been slightly higher than 46. So just for the sake of argument, let's just say it was 48 or 49. Don't know. But that probably would not have been enough for me to purchase that. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. All right, Sean. Yeah, you got to do that W thing. I understand. Got to support this fantastic hobby. Cheers, sir, and hope your day goes well. Mm, mm, mm. But well, I tell you what, the coffee chat is definitely good this morning. The coffee is good. That fresh ground Sumatran is hitting the spot, and that's exactly what the hell this cup is designed for. It's keeping it nice and hot as I sit here and bullshit. Really, really good. Really good. So, what's everyone deciding they're going to do on their Sunday? I know what's on my ticket, and breakfast here in a little bit. Oh, look at this. You speak his name, and look who shows up. He shows up. I knew. It's just like saying Beetlejuice 3 times. You say Eric Gunderson 3 times. Here he comes. Hey, don't go anywhere. Stay right there. I'm going to fill this sucker back up. Eric is here. Let me go run in the kitchen there and grab it. You guys hold the fort down. Greg, don't go anywhere. I'll be back in 2 minutes. Be right back. Hold on. Couple more seconds. I'm right here. I just got to fix something. I'm having a heck of a problem. For some reason, the computer has a lag on my end, but trying to re-engage the camera. But anyway, now we're good. Now we are good. Well, that's funny. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. I am too. I was talking about that. And of course, I brought your name up because I saw your collection when we're going to talk about this. And I was like, Eric has a couple of lovely bottles in his collection of that. But that was the first bottle from that distillery that I had seen. So, it was like, oh, yep. So yeah, we're good now. Just had to get this thing going. That's why I've got people here. We're always moving. But anyway, yeah, I am excited about that stream. But having Stacy on the stream this afternoon is going to be good because she can put some story to the distilleries, to the whiskey, as I'm doing my first tasting of it. And I didn't open the bottle, didn't touch it, nothing like that. I wanted to, but I didn't. But I wanted to. But Guess what I found? Guess what I found, Eric? I'm going to highlight it because it's going to make hanging jealous. Okay, hold on. I found a 2018 bottling of Glen Scotia 15. So I was extremely happy to find this bottle, particularly still sitting on the shelf. So I can have something like that. So I found that. And I am so happy to get it. That's for sure. And I'm looking forward to trying some of that, particularly that bottle here coming up. And I was wondering where you were hanging. I said, I know the pug done got you up, so you would be coming around sooner or later. Oh, shoot. I figured if anybody had that one before, it definitely would have been you. Oh, my goodness. All right. Mine is 2018. So yeah, same thing. Same thing. JD Bourbon Approach said that those years, that 18 and older, he said some very tasty juice in the bottles. And you can tell because they've changed the labels. Yeah. Yeah. Usually people think the older the whiskey, the better it will be. And that's not always the same. And so let me just say this. Uh, Richie Z has the Elijah Craig 18 that he had picked up. It's good whiskey. However, and Richie, correct me, I think they made it 90 proof or 92. I think it was 90. And the standard bottling is 94. Yeah, is 94 proof. So they proofed it down a few points. But to me, that 18, like I said, it was good. But when you go to their standard bottling, their small batch at 94 proof, I thought it had more flavor, a little more viscosity, some more of that spice that that I like, and that I just thought the 18 was flat. I just thought the 18 was flat. So it did not spark it didn't spark my interest. Oh my gosh, where are your priorities, man? Where are your priorities? Oh, oh I just don't know what I'm going to do with you hanging. I just don't know. Well, at our age, eights, nines, sevens, eh, it happens. Trust me, trying to read that stuff at the bottom of a bottle like that. Mm. Ooh, Festival Rum, 14-year-old. I'm finding that I'm enjoying some of the flavors that the rum casks will impart on the whiskey. Yeah, so I'm glad you got that. Greg, have you heard that Glen Glassalt is going to be ceasing production? Yeah, you gotta check out some of his videos that he has posted up there, especially his year in review. It's a good video. Good video. I'm jealous because some of the stuff that I know that he has, I am not going to be getting. Well, see, and that's right, and they will. But I'm just saying, why couldn't you at least leave it at 94? You proofed it down. Why? To get a few more bottles because it's 18 years old and you want to make some more money? I mean, I I got it, but I don't know. It to me, it just wasn't there. I'm not saying that I didn't it was not enjoyable, but at 18 years old, I was I was expecting a more rounded, a more balanced um, experience than I got. And not that it was horrible by any means. No, not that it was horrible by any means. It was just probably my expectations were a little high on that. Uh, so, you know, to each his own, and it's very subjective on the taste. But like I said, I just I don't know. I just thought they should have left it go. If their core range was 94, why would you drop it down? You know, I don't know. I have a few of those barrel proofs, and they are a good bang for the buck if you can find them at a reasonable price. Mini chainsaw dashman. Yeah, they who who was talking about that on Big Vic stream? Drifting Drams Coffee. It's not ready to buy it. And I wanted to tell him, well, I think you're behind the eight ball there, buddy. I don't think anybody doesn't know about Drifting Drams Coffee and how good it is. That's for darn sure. Hey, morning, sir. Coffee time. Coffee time here as we wake up and enjoy the day. But yeah, it is wonderful here this morning. Yes, they are. Thank you, sir. I will have to agree with you on that. Yes, certainly are. Huh. I just can't believe that. I just cannot believe that, um, like Glenn Glassall, it's a Brown Foreman thing. I got it. But, and they had 2024 Whiskey of the Year with Sands End, which surprised the shit out of me. But it is good whiskey. In fairness, it is good whiskey. I like the drop. It's worth the money at 65 bucks. Some people said, hey, they have it on special for $59.99. And I said, buy it. It's not disappointing, particularly when the 12 is, I think, almost the same price. But pick up the 12, pick up the Portnoy, you got the quarter range. So let's just say all three for under 200 bucks. Oh my gosh, it's a buy. If you're looking to try that particular distillery, that core range right there, those three, that they're good bottles. They are very good bottles. Uh, very good bottles. Oh my gosh. It's not the first time I've done whiskey talk this early. I'm just doing it with coffee that may have a little Redbreast 12. May. Who knows? Oh, you should. But you know I'm doing Irish tonight. But I will be on at 3 East Coast time, or excuse me, 3 my time, 6 East Coast time, and Stacy's going to be on with me. Look at this, Tommy D, Tommy D, Tommy D. Morning, sir. Hope you got a mug full of coffee and you're ready for a little more BS this morning. Drifting. Oh, here we go. Thank you. Drifting Drams Coffee. There is the web page. Put it up there for people that were like Drifting Drams. They're fellow YouTubers who roast coffee, and I haven't heard anybody say yet that the roasts that they have received from them were disappointing. And they have a few that you can try. I mean, you may find one that might not tickle all of your fancies, but it's a good roast. But you definitely could find one that will probably change your mind. So yeah, don't overlook them. Good people making a good product. Yeah, worth nothing, true, but I look at it this way. For the money, I think that juice is pretty darn good. And you can pick up all 3 bottles for under $200 right now. Uh, I'm going to get a few more because I like them. So we'll have to see what happens. But I just can't understand that when I think they just came out of mothballs back in 16, 17, something like that. Don't quote me on it. Of course it is, Eric. Of course it is. Sorry. This is what happens when I stream sometimes. Exactly, Eric. Look at that. Dude, I hope you're not staring at that screen too hard because that face of mine isn't anything that's good. But hey, we should send that to them. There you go. Thank you, sir. Love it. Really do. Love it. Of course, you pour whatever you want in that glass. We don't discriminate here. See, this is perfect because you get a lot of convoluted information. And it's funny, I was going to actually email you to see what you knew, but that's what I want to know. I couldn't believe they were fully going to stop when I know that distillery was silent for a minute, and then excuse me. But anyway, I figured that the information I was getting wasn't exactly true, but that they will reduce the volume of liquid they produce. But I don't know. I I'm seeing a downturn. Yes, yes, absolutely. Um, Good for us. I know bad for them because hopefully prices are going to start to come down. But you know, I don't know. You just got to get the right people together that have some more up to date information to get the right perspective. I was trying to be very technically right on this. Exactly. It's Sunday fun day, right? Yes, you put whatever you want in your coffee, put whatever you want in your glass. Oh, Tommy, isn't it good coffee? Drifting Drams coffee? I mean, serious. It's everybody I've talked to about it. And of course, when you talk to them themselves, but uh, yeah, it's a decent grind when you grind that up, and they'll grind it for you. If I'm not mistaken, you don't have to get whole beans, but uh, I have a grinder, but I'd grind mine when I wanted it. But yeah, and it started out as pretty much a little hobby of theirs, if I'm not mistaken, and then boom. Sorry. Well, you know what, Peter? Jokingly, Bourbon, Whiskey Uncensored, joking with me, especially over the last 2 years or so, said I should go to Scotch Neophyte instead of Bourbon Neophyte. And I said, well, you know what? To be honest with you, it's just a name to me. I had to pick something that was unusual and catchy for a channel. That's just what I picked. That's just what I picked. But I am leaning more towards uh, the Scotch world the last 2 years than bourbon. And I have nothing against bourbon. I have nothing against Scotch, Irish, American malt. I'm fine with it. But Scotch was my first uh, passion. And I just had gotten out of it for over 20 years. And something now I've gotten back into. And well, it's like anything. It it's enjoyable to me. Oh, oh my gosh, look at you talking all that nonsense first thing in the morning. Oh my gosh, hanging. Went on a stint. And so that was some other talk about ABV. Uh, I think a lot, well, I don't know. I'm just talking here, but I think that you're right where ABV is dropping because I think they want to get a little more bang for their buck as the distillery. So if they go from 46 to, let's just say 43, just using that as a number, of course they're going to get a few more bottles out of that barrel and make a few more bucks. And someone else mentioned something along the line about the ABV and that they think that they're going to see a decrease. And as a matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, some of them are doing it, dropping the ABV because in Europe and other places, it's taxed on ABV. So they want to keep the product more appealing to people. So they continue to buy it. Now, this is just me. This is just me. I don't know everything, but when you start listening to this stuff, when you start hearing things, and then I have you on over in France, Greg, and then I have Faz over in New Zealand, then you have like James Morgan over in the UK to give a more global perspective, and it's strictly personal opinions, but you get a little more clearer picture about the topic, and you can surmise or make a hypothesis of a direction that you think that they are taking. If that if that sounds if that sounds right, you know. Okay. See, now you see where I was going. It's like, yep. Okay. Thank you. That's what I wanted to make sure, and that's where I was going. I'm trying to read these comments and stuff and go down and try to keep the conversation going. But anyway, yeah. And people are talking about that also is possible tariffs on different things because of the administration. So, but this is another thing that I would love to talk about. And I talked to Livewire Whiskey, not this weekend, be 2 weeks ago. And I said, man, this Brown Foreman stuff, these tariffs and the reduced production at some places, blah, 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 blah. I says, and then other channels, of course, are talking about Brown Foreman and the layoffs and this and that and this and that. I said, this topic has so many legs on, oh my gosh, speaking of drifting trams, look at this stuff and look who pops up for the Sunday morning coffee chat. I sure hope Katie's got some coffee in her cup, and I wonder what it would be. It's just so funny you pop up. We've all been talking about your coffee and who has it in their mug and blah, 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 and how it started out. These are my words, as a kind of like, oh, let's just try our own roast. And then it grew from there. But anyway, always great to have you. I'm going to come down. Oops. Yes. And say good morning to her. Always a pleasure. Let me lift up my mug. Mine is a Sumatran roast this morning, fresh ground. Sorry, but and yes, I think Peter is the one that mentioned it in a previous stream or in chat, either on one of my lives or he and I were chatting. It could have been Aquavita or somebody like that. Where he and I were in the same area at the same time. But anyway, yeah, it might have even been Donald Rance, but neither here nor there. Yes, but you know what? Again, that is a whole other, that's a politics thing for sure. But we'll just have to do one of those wait and see. Wait and see. Hold on, let me catch up here. Dustin Funnies. Huh. Oh, okay. So yeah, it definitely is going to be political. Now I got where you're going. Now I see. Now that I'm catching up here on the chat. Now someone else mentioned about that, and it had to be, like I said, Peter or Donald Rance or somebody about a possible issue on there, and I could be getting it confused, but I heard about it, unless it popped up on a feed on my phone and I just kind of glanced through it, but just have not, it just didn't register. But I could have swore we talked about it, or it could have been something similar as a educated guess about what might happen. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So what you're saying then, Peter, is on the federal side, they could say something, but if the province says, yeah, no, our shelves are going to stay stocked, they can do that, right? Hmm. 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 Yeah, that's what I want to get clarification on. Okay. Okay. Well, that's what I'm trying to get here. Said there, this topic in general has has so many legs from the layoffs and so on and so forth to just globally. Globally, I mean, I just think that but I just think it's a great topic for discussion to have people on not only live but in chat giving these different perspectives and views and what is being said where they are and what they are reading versus what I am reading, to really form a consensus and a valid opinion of everything. But yeah, I got it pretty much in a nutshell. There's some politics going on. But the only thing I can say is Trudeau is gone. And most Canadians I've talked to are delighted at that. But again, sometimes what's gone doesn't mean what's coming in is going to be any better. So totally understand that. Totally understand that without a doubt. But I do love the topic. I mean, I love the topic. It's controversial. It's a passionate topic to get into, and it may be a great topic to get into on another weekend morning where everybody just gets their coffee. We sit down and we start bringing this out and seeing. So if it's not being shipped there, the ripple effect down here could be reduced production, layoffs, right? However, in other markets like Japan, sales are strong in the whiskey industry. Oh, but he is on his way out, correct? Or let's put it this way, his government is on the way out. So global bourbon sales are down in general. Okay. So do you think then that there is more of a flood of bourbons on the market, particularly from the smaller uh, distilleries, and I'm going to use the term boutique distilleries, who have cut off a little sliver of the market, has impacted some sales. But if this continues, the only ones that are really going to survive will be the bigger names, and some of these more smaller boutique ones might not live through it. Well, sir, apparently you must have slept for too long because it's 4 in the afternoon here, which means it's 7 o'clock for you, and you should probably be going back to bed after they change your depends. But no, sir, you are not crazy. It is me on in the morning. The Las Vegas chapter of the Fair Dinkum Mounted Pub has had to step in and take over and fill a little time while the main chapter in Australia is on a bit of a break. So, we as auxiliary chapters have to fill in a little bit here, step up, and get this show on the road here for a couple of hours at least, you know? So we're doing what we can. Uh-huh. Absolutely. I can agree with that. I can agree with that. Ah. So let me ask you, Peter, thumbs up, thumbs down, or really no opinion? It's going to have to wait and see how he's going to be? Or do you think he's lockstep with the outgoing prime minister? Oh, yeah, I know that a lot of people wanted to give him a vacation, that's for sure. Well, yeah, like I said, you don't want to miss it. But no, 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 no. But it is time for your weekly colon cleansing, so you better go get in line. Helga is waiting for you. I think she's got the bigger diameter hose for you too. Yeah, yeah, I think we could, and I don't want to see anything really close, but I think that we need to get rid of some of those smaller, less, and I hate to use the term less productive, but less productive boutique ones. But yeah, that's just going to be a cost of business with what's going on today. Ah, so he has a little better understanding of economics than the past administration. Understand. That's my opinion. Just summarizing our brief little snippets of conversation here. So, but okay, which then in turn to me it would mean that somebody kind of, like you said, has a better understanding of this the economic predicament that Trudeau has you all in right now. And then getting another set of eyes in there to focus things a bit. And it's not going to happen overnight, but might be a better solution. Absolutely. Where's Jonathan? Ooh, okay. All right. Now I got you. Yes. Yep, yep, yep. Well, okay. Go back to our administration now. The last one, totally, absolutely, positively, in my opinion, and of course, I'm definitely wasn't for that administration, but dropped the ball. And we, as a group of people, didn't like it, even though the group of people were talking, the people in power, just like you guys have, said they were listening, but they weren't listening. And so, of course, we spoke and said, yeah, you're out of here. And sometimes just because what you put in now doesn't always mean it's going to be, the best. And I know that, everyone else knows that. But the opinion I took was sure as hell can only go up from where we were. So that's for sure. Again, my opinion, just my opinion, just a tax-paying American who's goes to work every day like everybody else, you know, has their views and likes and dislikes. And I used mine at the polls. Hey, John. Cheers, sir. Hope all is well with you. Just filling in for Ken a bit this morning and carrying on a little discussion here. And it's an enjoyable morning with a cup of coffee. And like I said, there may or may not be Redbreast 12 in there. This cup there wasn't. But, what you put in your coffee is your business. Katie was here. She might even still be here. She's hoping it's Drifting Drams coffee. If you're going to put any coffee in your mug. But it was just funny. We were all talking about Drifting Drams coffee and Katie and Ethan and blah, blah, blah. We were just doing our normal chat. And then a little bit later, guess who pops up to say good morning? So it's like me talking about Eric Gunderson. You say the name enough, boom, here he is. And boom, there he was. But he had sent me a picture earlier about his Killowen collection. And I'm like, ooh, man, that was a nice little collection that he has. So he's familiar with the brand. But so that's what I want to be doing my stream on with Stacy. So anyway, good to see you, sir. Yeah, we're going to have to see. We're going to have to see. I think that right now, yes, some prices are going to go up. I had said that before it reaches the plateau to where it will start dropping because the volumes that they want to get out aren't, and they will drive because what's in the market now, the price is fixed. It's not going to go anywhere. It's going to take some time for that to be depleted, and then prices may fall a bit. But right now, what's out there, what's contracted, and what's been purchased, I'm going to say the price is here. But the prices will eventually, in my opinion, will drop. But you're not going to see it today or tomorrow. You're not going to see it today or tomorrow. Well, that's the whole thing. That's the whole thing. There's the party was loony, and I have friends that hold on to that lever regardless of who the party puts in, and I think that they realized this because I've actually had a talk with a couple of them, and they thought that she could do a good job. However, they think it was too late. And one even said they backed the wrong person. They backed the wrong person and, put the troops in front of him. And the problem is they just couldn't do it with him. And by the time they put her in there, it was too little, too late, not prepared, wasn't grooming her, didn't do due diligence. So anyway, it's just how it is. Well, of course, but I think he doesn't want truly a weak dollar. I always said what you have and what you could get, if you switch them, you just never know if it's better or worse. Yeah, I think I replied to you, Greg, and said, was it March 2nd or something along that line? Because that was good for Marty. So, yes, I think that is or was correct. Yep. Well, again, it does entice more buying. There's no doubt about that. Um, so I could see that, but I don't think you want to truly lose a lot of value, my opinion. But understand what you're saying. I do understand what you're saying. I really do. Because if people can buy stuff from here because it's cheaper, because their currency, our currency, yes, just like us in Canada. If I buy something there with American money, just using that, it could be 20, 30, $40 cheaper because of the value of the currency versus Canadian currency. And we talk about that all the time with our fellow Canadians. Well, I can get this for, 100 Canadian, which would probably cost you 65 American, just using that as a number because of the value of the currency. So totally get it, understand. Yep, yep, without a doubt. But it's just one of those things that it's with everything. What's going to happen with the incoming people in Canada with what we already have? How are if that new PM gets in there who actually has some sense when it comes to money, how will they interact not with us as being our administration, and what will they work out? Because truthfully, us in Canada, we're always going to have to be together. We live on the same chunk of dirt. Okay. They protect us in the north, we're in the south. That has happened a long, 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 long time ago. And we have become dependent upon Canada as Canada's become dependent upon us. It's important for us to have a good relationship together. It is absolutely paramount that we have dialogue, we have a good economy, trade, tourism, all that comes into play. I'm just throwing some things out there. But we need Canada, and Canada needs us for certain things. And some of the discourse that's been going on is foolish, in my opinion. But again, two opposing opinions, two different administrations coming together, having issues. If you bring two people down that are smart, it's going to make a difference. I think it's going to make a difference, but we're not going to see it today. We're not going to see it today. Oh, yes. Yes, I didn't watch that yet, but it's in my feed. It's in my feed. Yes, it's almost that time here too. Yes, yes, yes. Eric, I hope you are doing well. Glad to see you here. Just doing a little fill in this morning for the Mounted Pub, just to say hey, make sure everybody's doing well, and just filling in a little bit of the spot and engaging in a little morning coffee talk. Mm. So what you're saying, Greg, is you're willing to get that for him for $225 and send it to his door, I'm sure he'll accept it. I'm sure he'll accept it. I truthfully don't think Dustin is going to turn down a bottle of booze that you want to send him to his door. That's for sure. But anywho, well, see, what did I tell you? He agreed. Yeah, $225. That's fair. You want to send it to his door? He'll take it. Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah. But like I said, if Greg wants to send it to your door, you're going to take it. I got it. No problem. Oh, well, that's how I stumbled onto my stag, Peter, that I picked up yesterday. One, right place, right time, but I know the owner, and I said just have me at the right place, right time, and picked up the 24C. And I'm like, wow. We were talking about damaged shipments earlier in the stream, Dustin. We were talking about that, and it's like, it happens. But then professional package smashers, I swear, take cues from the airline baggage handlers. I mean, holy cow. Holy cow. I was going to say, to his door for that, I'm sure he would accept it. But I'm glad you clarified that, Greg, because I thought you might have been having, one of your senior moments. Always good to have just a tad bit of clarification there. Tad bit of clarification. This is a wonderful thing. Greg, question for you. Your illegitimate son, Shane, is he back home? I know he was out and about a couple of days ago. Because I saw a post of his at a distillery. Looked like he was doing some business, let's say. So I figured, well, maybe he's back home. Don't know, but okay. That's what I was wondering. That's what I was wondering. Thank you. Well, Greg will tell you, them 70s were rough on him. Oh, goodness gracious. Well, at least what Greg can remember of the 70s and late 60s, that's for sure. They told him he had a good time. He remembers that part of it. They did. They told him he had a good time. Oh, no. We totally understood. At least I understood what you were saying. Without a doubt. Without a doubt. But, well, I hope everyone has had a good morning, got some laughs, just doing some normal coffee talk this morning. I know I certainly have had a good time chatting with you all. Really was good. I'm glad to fill in for a little bit for Scotch Down Under. I'm going to go get a spot of breakfast myself, finish up a few errands this morning, and get ready for my stream this afternoon at, well, it'll be 3 o'clock here, 6 o'clock for those of you on the East Coast. Yes, I'm helping you right now, Greg. I am going. If you hit that subscribe button and click on the bell, Greg, put your glasses on, you'll get the notification. You'll get the notification and you'll know. But like I said, 4 Leaf Whiskey will be joining me this afternoon on my stream when I crack a bottle of Irish whiskey, and we're going to do that and chat for a while. And who knows? Could be 3-4 hours worth of chatting tonight. You just never know what will happen or won't happen. So anyway, I hope you all have a good morning. I look forward to seeing you all this afternoon. And by the way, there will, at this point right now, be no live wire. I may continue on for a little bit after my stream normally would end, but it is possible, and I'm just going to throw it out there, that there could be a substitution in tonight for live wire. But Mike is packing for a business trip, so I do know that as of this point he isn't on, but there could be someone else filling in, and or I may stream a little longer tonight. So I look forward to seeing you guys this afternoon and this evening. Appreciate you all for being here. And again, send good thoughts towards Ken and his family for his dad on a recovery, that he's doing well. And I look forward to seeing you all later on. Have a great morning. See you later, people. Thanks for stopping in.